Howdy friends and family, thank you so much for joining me. This is the 9th video in the series I'm doing called In the Midst, and we are in the second section. This is actually the last day of the second section about joy. So we've covered biblical joy, biblical happiness. Today we are comparing the two. And if you look them up in the dictionary, these two words are going to be kind of synonymous. Joy is going to be defined as happiness, and happiness is going to be defined as joy. But when we look at the biblical context and biblical definition, we see that there is a difference. And in fact, we run into the active versus passive that we were talking about last week. And happiness falls more into this passive category. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Without revelation, people run wild, but one who follows divine instruction will be happy." And then if we turn to James chapter 5, verse 11, we see, "See, we count as blessed those who have endured. You have heard of Job's endurance and have seen the outcome that the Lord brought about. The Lord is compassionate and merciful." So remember, especially with this James passage, that happiness, the words for happiness are often also translated as blessed. So we see this idea that when we do something, or when something happens to us, or when we have something, we get this happiness. Happiness is a passive byproduct of all these other things. We are actively trying to do something. Maybe we're actively trying to endure, we're actively trying to follow God. But there's also some things, maybe your children are righteous. That brings happiness, we know, as well from the other day. So happiness is tied to these things, but we're not actively trying to find happiness. We're actively trying to do these other things, or these other things are happening to us, and happiness just comes with it. Happiness is a feeling that comes with our circumstances. It is not active, it is passive. On the other hand, when we look at joy in Scripture, joy has an active component to it. James 1, verses 2 through 3 says, "Consider it great joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you experience various trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance." Considering something is active. We are supposed to actively consider something with joy. We are to choose to see these things in light of joy. We are supposed to actively be seeking joy, actively considering things as joy. So what does it mean to see something as joy? We're choosing to see it through the light of joy. This doesn't mean that there's not going to be pain or suffering or heartache. You might still have that feeling in your chest of sorrow, sadness, or hurt. But it is choosing to try and find the positive. And even when you can't find anything positive, it is choosing to say, I can still see good because I can see what Jesus has done for me. It is knowing that no matter the circumstances, there is good because of what Jesus has done. It is seeing and knowing of God's grace, no matter the circumstances. This isn't easy to do. It's actually very hard to do. But we know we can do it with Jesus. We need his strength to be able to do this. But with him, we can. We can choose to say that in any circumstance. So, let's choose joy. Let's not wait for this passive happiness that is dependent on the ephemeral things of this world, the things that are here today and gone tomorrow. Let's choose joy, which is consistent in God, because Jesus and what he has done for us will never change or fade. So let's choose to say, I can still see good because I can see what Jesus has done for me. If you're working on memorizing James 1, 2 through 4, this is your reminder to do that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.